Okay.
So bonjour. Hi everybody. My name is Pauline. I'm French. I'm 28 and I come from Lyon. And I've been living in Paris for 3 years. And I'm now actually living in Montreal for 4 months just to study.
Okay. And Pauline, why did you move from Lyon to Paris?
I graduated from social work school and I wanted to work in a special field, which was housings and projects for the government. And I think Paris was a more interesting place to do that. And
Okay. Um, how do you like living in Paris, or I guess are there any big differences or anything unique about living in Paris other than Lyon or the other places you've lived?
Um, Lyon is much smaller than Paris, but it's still a big city, so that wasn't the thing that made me come to Paris. I really wanted to come because there are lots of things to do in Paris, and I think it's a great city. I've been really enjoyed living there. There are actually 20 different boroughs in Paris, and the thing I like is every time you go from one to another, it seems like you're in a completely different city because the people, the monuments, the shapes, sorry, buildings are very different. So I really like to be still surprised by the city after 3 years being there.
Okay, so it'd be really similar to uh, like different neighborhoods in a major U.S. city, but boroughs in Paris.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Um, what's the weather in Paris like?
Um, the weather in Paris is, we will say continental in France. It's getting cold in the winter, not as cold as Nebraska, but it's getting very cold, minus 10 degrees. And during summer, it can get hot. And between like those seasons, it's mostly warm. But Paris is located in more the north part of France, so you might get much more hot weather in the south of France than you get in Paris.
Okay, and when you say minus 10 degrees in the winter, is that Celsius?
It is Celsius,
Okay.
yes. I don't know how to do it in Fahrenheit,
Okay,
sorry.
and I think that would be like in the teens for our American students. So cold, below freezing. Um,
Yes. But yeah, and no snow. We don't get much snow also in France, except if you're in the mountains part of France, there's not a lot of snow during winter.
okay.
But
How about the geography of France, the landscapes, the landforms? What is France like?
okay, so um, I will just we have very different landscapes, but they are really close to one another because France is not as big as the United States. So you might it might get you 2 or 3 hours to go from the mountains to the seaside. So the north part, like most France, is very flat, but you have in the south you have the seaside with the Mediterranean Sea, and then in when you go above, you have more hills and then the mountains like the Alps on the east part of France. And when you go west, it's all surrounded by the ocean. You have the ocean border with like very long beach and um, sandy hills. But yeah, the rest of France is mostly very flat. So
Okay. How about a little bit about the people and the culture of France? One of the things we talk about in our class is the different languages that are spoken. Of course, people in France speak French, but are there any other languages spoken?
well, they mainly speak French. Uh, English is also a common language for people that went to school because they usually pick this first language to learn because it's the most common language that they can use if they go abroad or if they work. And well, they can speak Spanish and German too. But the other thing is with immigration coming, like the immigrants coming to France, you can find a lot of people that can speak Arabic because we are very close, like maybe 1 hour by plane from North Africa, Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. And we also have now lots of people that can speak Chinese because we have lots of immigrants from China. So.
Okay, so a whole variety of languages. One of the questions that students are always kind of curious to know about is what types of food do French people eat? What are common foods? Maybe what are some unusual foods?
Well, France is known actually for the quality and the taste of the food. There's lots of different influences. So if you go more south, the south part of France, it will be much more Mediterranean food. That means that with lots of vegetables and olive oil and fish, which is considered to be like more healthy. But if you go north, it's more heavy food with meat and sausages and cream and butter. But like um, food is it's a big part of our culture. So most people can cook home, but they cook simple things. But we do have unusual food. I know we're known to be nicknamed as the frog because people can eat like frog legs, and we also have this what is called in French escargot, and it's snail. So it's garlic and butter and snail. Well, I tried both. I didn't really like it, but if people come to France, they should try because it's something very special.
Sure. How about some of the different forms of entertainment for people in France or in Paris specifically? What sort of things do they do for recreational activities or entertainment?
It's not that different from I think other part of the world. Well, people go to the cinema, they go to see plays. We have lots of museums in Paris with um, lots of different exhibits. So during free time, people might go to see them. And we also enjoy to stay. We have lots of cafe and restaurants, so people really enjoy to spend hours talking and just hanging around. So.
Okay. How about sports? We've got a lot of students that are involved in different sports. What sort of sports are popular or common in France?
The most popular sport I think in France is soccer, and but we people can also enjoy basketball and tennis. I think they are the main sport that people like they play or they watch on TV and such.
Okay. And we also talk a little bit about the different governments of the places that we study. What type of government does France have? And who are the leaders of France or of the French government?
Okay, so our government is a unitary semi-presidential republic. That means that we vote directly to elect the president, and then the president has a prime minister that is working with, and also different ministries. But then the the country is divided into 22 regions and I think more than 100 departments. So they have to apply the government decisions, but they can still like be on their own for some particular policies. Um, we changed. We voted for a new president 6 or 7 months ago, I think. The new president is called François Hollande, and he's the head of the French Socialist Party, which will be related more to the Democrat Party in the United States. So.
Okay, and how often does France have elections, especially presidential elections?
Oh, it's every 5 years now. It used to be 7 years, but now it's every 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, you've had an opportunity to live in and visit other places. How is Paris or how is France different from some of the other places that you've lived? What makes it unique?
Um, what makes it unique? I think, well, I've been to Asia and I've been to the United States and then now Canada. And I visited also different cities in Europe. I think that Paris is, uh, well, it's an old city, so obviously there's a historic background, a very big historic background, lots of monuments and places to see, and I think that's I think that's what people are looking for when they come to Paris because it's a very beautiful city. The buildings and yeah, the I don't know, the parks and such. It's very nice to see. So maybe that will be the difference. And food too.
Okay, and I'll throw in one more question to kind of run with what you said there. Most people know about some of the really popular landmarks in Paris, like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre and the Arc de Triomphe. If you were giving a tour to one of our students of Paris, what's the one thing that you think they should see?
um, oh, that's an hard question. Um, I don't really know. I will for sure take the student to see the most like common monument or the most popular. But there's also Paris is a city that you have to walk to discover it, and so I will go to special areas that there are not monuments to see, but it's just walking in the streets, meeting people, or like very non to go to restaurants or places that people don't really know. I don't know how to describe it because um, it won't be something that people will remind or because it's not something very famous. It's just I think going around and walk a lot in Paris that would be great. So yeah.
All right, well, excellent. Thank you very much for taking time to speak to us, and uh, we will maybe talk to you again soon.
Yes, of course, with pleasure. Bye.
Bye.